Let's dig into that for a second. What does it take for them in this market? What are they having to do that they weren't doing before that's going to make them successful?
Great question. So here's the deal. I love internet leads. I've never been a cold call guy, but I know people having massive success with cold calls. I'm going to share internet lead like tactics here or things that have to happen. More than ever, we've got to be relentless in our follow-up. Being handed a lead doesn't mean anything. It's an opportunity. And so the things that I see from people that are successful, both inside of my organization and out, they are doing things like, first of all, they vary their communication, meaning it's never, I don't just make phone calls. I don't just send text messages. I don't just send emails, but it's phone calls, text messages, and emails. Some people I've heard even get granular, and it's like 2-to-1 text to calls and 2-to-1 emails to calls. So that's one thing. Another thing is, so I'm going to vary how I follow up with people. I think more than ever, especially for agents. Well, I mean, to me, this even goes for a high performing solo agent and a team leader. If you're making phone calls, you've got to document now more than ever. If you're on my team, I can't help you if I don't know what you've been saying, what the conversation's been at. And part of that is it helps us get better at shortening the sales cycle and understanding the consumer and where they're really, truly at. So we've got to be able to use our CRM. I know that's a wild, crazy thought, but
imagine that.
CRM, right? And some numbers that I've been told from a few friends that have that are in databases around the country that have large amounts of leads, what they're seeing consistently from the top performers is they're having 35, sometimes as many as 40 conversations a week that last at least 2 minutes.
Wow.
Notice I didn't say connection, because a connection might last 30 seconds, might last 90 seconds, but 2 minutes appears to be some sort of okay, I've kept you on the phone long enough to where I can move us forward and I can get a better understanding of what your needs are, Anton. And so if I can have 35, 40, 45 connections a week that are at least 2 minutes long, that's been so far this year, that's been a big predictor of success. And so that's what I think of. It's the mentality of someone that will, first of all, call every single day, text, email, do it within the CRM, and then also they'll get good at being on the phone. You got to understand, if you just take the first objection, you don't just get to 2-minute calls because you're lucky. You get there because you stay in the box with somebody. You get 100%. There because you'll stay in that conversation and go, great, tell me more. And you'll start to uncover what their real desires are and what their real motivation is. Then you can actually help them move past the walls that they put up that they don't even realize that they have. And so learning how to stay in the box and stay in conversations with your clients or prospective clients is super important.
One thing that we've always joked about is this idea of buy, sell, die, or get a restraining order. Okay, so what does that mean? That doesn't mean that we're malicious. It's a mantra. It's a belief system. Another analogy that we've always shared with people is when you are getting through that 2-minute conversation, it's the same as the Raiders, because I know you love the Raiders, but the defender is coming just straight at you. Your job is to break the first tackle. If you can make it past the first tackle, you might make it a few yards down the field. But you got to break that first tackle, break that first objection, break that first annoyance for interrupting their day, and then we can get into a real conversation. But you've got to stay in the box, like you said. I love that. That's beautiful.
Dude, you nailed it right there. That's a great analogy. You got to break that first tackle. You really do.